Welcome back to Vanillaish Factorio, and you'll see that advanced material processing is finished. I'm just going to go on to the next step in the chain. I want to say advanced material processing 2 gives us production science packs, which needs electric engine units. We've already automated it. And electric furnaces, which, well, we get from this. So let's just research that. Take a little time to get through, but not too much. You'll see I've researched fluid tanks. Just really helpful to have a buffer available so you get more chance to react to things like that building up. I did get comments saying that I was probably putting too much sulfur in. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I just have this kind of layout in my head and it just makes it easier. I don't mind too much unless we're talking about like late game or mega base kind of stuff that things are backing up at all. You know, we're actually producing batteries at rate of knots now, and also it was chemical plants, not assembly machines that make batteries. I just misremembered and placed the wrong thing down. Anyway, down here we're sort of delayed a little bit by the fact that we're not producing plastic fast enough for our red circuit plants down here, and that's because we are maxed out on light oil. I've only got a few chemical plants here now dealing with light oil, so if we're going to get rid of it, actually, do I actually want to get rid of everything and turn everything into lubricant? Possibly. So we could just copy and paste this, and then let's get rid of that junction, and then we can just put in like this for now. There we go, and there's another plant producing solid fuel from light. And then we can also think about some sort of a buffer, i.e. another tank or two. Let's try 2, and we can put them here, I want to say, or do we want them somewhere else? Let's put them here for now, and then we just have to make sure we feed sort of into here, and then we shall just feed this way, at least, you know, for the moment. That should get us a buffer, which should then free up the petroleum to start producing, which should then improve the speed of our plastics. You'll see I have 4 plants here, but right now they don't have any petroleum, so they can't start producing. At least they couldn't. They should start pretty soon now. The light oil has dropped. Heavy oil is not backed up either, so these should all be on, which they are. And they're pulling from the crude oil, which is still maxed-ish, and the water, which of course we're getting from all the way down there, down at the bottom right. Okay, so this episode we need to head on to passages new, really. One of the things we start producing with these batteries, I think, is the next stage. Is it blue circuits? I can never remember. Let's have a look. Can I see in here? Let's just see what we've got. First 4 science packs done. The high-tech science pack is the one that uses batteries, and that needs processing units, which is the blue circuits basically, and that just needs red, green, and sulfuric. So this area here where we're producing batteries, we can also take the sulfuric acid off there, and again I think I'm going to want to keep a store of it just in case I need to react to underrun or overrun or something like that, and then we'll combine that with red and green. Now, of course, red and green also do other things, which we've already got running down here. You'll see we've got red. Red is being taken in to produce speed modules, which I'm not doing anything with at the moment, but we can sort of shut those off temporarily. Easiest way to do that is just to, basically disassociate the recipe. And then lots of red and green will get through, and then we'll continue to produce blue science. What we really want to do, though, however, is probably bulk up on this, which then needs plastic, which is why I was optimizing things for that. So I think what I probably want to do is we want to make sure we've got enough refineries going on that plastic is not constrained. Do I have any refineries in my inventory? Refinery... doesn't look like it. I just need some more iron and we'll get some more of those. There's 5 already, but I think I want at least 7, if not more of those. I really miss Squeak Through. I almost want to install it just because it is Vanillaish Factorio, and it's very useful. However, let's see what we can do without it. So, refinery, a couple more of those, please, and we'll get them installed. And they're now installed, and as we can see, the petroleum gas is building up. So now I can actually extend this pipeline, which wasn't connected to these before because we just didn't have enough petroleum going. Now we've got pretty much loads of it. We can extend that pipeline out as well across to each of these. Because of just the way everything's laid out, I think I'm just going to go with some underground belt here and just make some room so that we can just introduce pipes. You know, it's a little bit wasteful, but it's fine. We can get away with it. And that'll just leave some room for me to just extend this upwards and outwards to here, like this. And then we'll have a pipeline sort of running this way. There we go. And that will probably, well, I imagine that will drain the petroleum pretty quickly. But we'll see. However, it will produce a whole lot more plastic. And we may just want to just make sure we... Are we putting that onto one side of a belt? We are. So there's not really much benefit in actually changing this, but we can just make sure that we don't fill the belt up. Not that I think that's going to actually happen, but yeah, they will both go onto one side of the belt here. And that will speed up our red circuit again, which we're going to need. And I will actually need probably more red circuits than that. So we do have space above here to do that. We can flip another section of them here, and we're going to need actually quite a lot more than that. But you can see that the plastic is now going to pile back just fine. And it should pile back beyond, well, hopefully our red circuits will go beyond the blue science here, and we should be able to get going. So the processing units then, we wanted those, and they needed to go in the blue assembly machines. That's fine. And we just need red, green, and sulfuric, which should be relatively straightforward because our sulfuric is on a pipeline right here. We can bring it down and over to the end. I don't think I'm going to need any more blue science, so we could build it beyond blue science, but I want to be a little bit careful that we don't go too far beyond. I don't inhibit this in any way. So I think I'm just going to put in some more sort of around here, something like that. And we'll put them in pairs as usual. And again, I'm not going to worry too much about how many of these. You know, this isn't... it is me going faster than I normally would, but it's not a speed run. You know, I'm not anti-elite by any means. Let's have a look. Where are you? Ooh, there we go. Processing units. And the sulfuric acid goes in along the top. Now, you can do things a little bit sneakily here. If you rotate it with R when you hold it down, what you can do is rotate them like this. Okay, and that means you just have to get the pipeline going between each of these. Actually, I'll just leave one off the end there, just it makes it a little bit nicer. And we'll put it actually on this end. There we go. And then you can, well, I need to go and get some more pipe, but you can get the idea. We can just run a pipe between them, and then we can run a belt on the above souther section this way and feed stuff in, and then we can just go underneath the belt, or we can just have the belt go underneath the pipes, either way around, and I'll get the sulfuric acid down from the top. So I'm going to do that off camera and come back to you shortly. Okay, so now that's all set up. We've now got the speed modules coming onto one side of a belt, blue circuits going onto the other side of a belt, and we're going to need batteries from up here, and we're also going to need copper cable to be precise, so we can probably just nab it from the end of this line. I'll just bring this across here a little bit. We can probably just produce some, to be honest. That's not going to be too much of an issue, so let's do that. Let's just say we want copper cable. There we go, and that can just go on to, that's the far side of a belt. We actually probably just want the near side of a belt, so we'll just use that as a buffer for now. And have it going like this. And let's make sure I've got some power poles. Okay, and there we should have our ingredients. We can always extend that, of course. And we need to link that up with here somewhere, and then here well, around there, we can produce the high-tech science and then send that back the other way to our labs. So we need to extend this line outwards. And we're going to bring it all the way down. So I want to bring it down. We're going to send them both probably this way. I always like building sort of away from the main belts if possible. So if we have this one going here, then we'd have another line arriving here, something along those kind of lines. Yeah, do like that, aside from the trees. Aside from the trees and the belt, taking me away from them. There we are. So let's bring you in. There we go. So our batteries are going to be coming in and arriving here. And then we can, I guess, see, let's build them on this side. I want to say let's build them here. And we're going to want to say, I want to build high-tech science. We are going to need red inserters as well, unfortunately, but that's the idea. Of course, that's the one. I'm going to have to build a lot more than that, but there's no big deal otherwise. Otherwise, we'll need to make sure I get some power. And where's the closest power? Quite far away wherever I go, so let's just send it this way. Yeah, really? That'll do. Okay, so the first one will go in, and then we'll bring that down. Now, typically I end it with lab arrays, quite a lot of lab arrays. Let's just actually get to the next thing here. We actually want to just go back one and into concrete. There we go, still red and green. Yeah, concrete needs iron ore, stone, brick and water. That's just red and green. We need to bring all those science packs down here, and you can sort of get a ways to weave these in and out. There's already 4 science packs here. In my case, though, I can just get away with it just by basically sending, bringing the belts this way, and then we'll just have them run. Not there, but there. And that will get an extra 2 science packs, which is more than enough to cover everything. And then we can just feed them in as we've done before. Someone did say I was missing, I was missing red inserters down here. I did catch that after the episode. So now we're no longer missing red inserters. And yeah, otherwise they weren't feeding in all the ingredients. And we definitely want that to happen, just to keep the research nice and fast. Okay, so I'm going to take that belt somewhere off camera and probably bring it out a fair amount and then down and back round again. So I probably will need a refill, but we'll do that off camera. Now, as you get a little bit later into the game, you're going to find that you're going to need copper more and more. And that's because primarily circuits. You'll see right there, there's my green circuit line, and you'll see it's not backed up whatsoever. Because I put in more red circuits, because red circuits are just need by so much stuff late game. And of course, hoovers copper and plastic, but most importantly of all, green circuits. And you never have enough green circuits. It's just one of those things you just don't. And you'll see here I've now got 5 sets of this sort of green circuit segments, and they are producing lots of green circuits, but yeah, the pipeline for the copper is being constantly used up. So I can keep on expanding those outward as and when I need to. Just bear in mind that, as you start off with a lot of iron, then you shift later game towards more copper. And just as a matter of just an explanation, when I expand these, I'll probably expand these to mirror these onto this side, not just reproduce this whole thing, because I tend to like later on having the sort of output in the middle of the furnaces and the inputs on the outside, but that's just personal preference. You can arrange them however you like. So the research was done for flammables, I think, so we're going to carry on with the modules, and just so we can get to later on. Speed module 2 is blue. You'll see the productivity module 3 is purple science, or the what is it called? Production science pack. So we are getting close to it now. And the production science pack is what we kind of need to handle next. Now, we already have done the high-tech pack, which actually is ironically a little bit easier to automate for me than the production pack. But production pack, electric engine units we've already done. Electric furnaces are now the bottleneck. The furnaces aren't terrible, but they again require advanced circuits. Red circuits, that's right. And they need steel and they need stone brick. Now, I don't have stone brick. Is that coal? That is coal. Do we have any other source of stone around? It would make sense to grab that instead of... Don't really have any around. So I know I've got stone brick down here, so I may well have to put it onto a belt to bring it upwards, which is possible. And we can combine it with steel somewhere. How much of each do we actually need for the furnace? What's kind of ratios there? Ratios, lots of steel, lots of stone, and less advanced circuits. But we're going to be limited by advanced circuits anyway, let's be honest here. So we can get the steel from here around back here and stick it that way if we wanted to. A little bit constrained, so what I might want to do is take that earlier and bring it around. And then our stone brick, if you remember, I created it quite early on. It's probably backed up, it is backed up, into this box, which is probably full. And let me just actually upgrade that box. Does it let me upgrade without going everywhere? I hope so. No, it doesn't let me upgrade at all. That's fine. So we're going to take the output of that box, or indeed even this belt, and we're going to bring that up somewhere along with some steel. Around here seems sort of good. That seems like a good option. So why don't we just take them underground. And then we've got a place here we can pull the steel off. And then we still have 3 spaces here, so we can go and put a belt sort of running. Let me just get a couple more underground belts and get some iron running. We'll run it sort of here, I want to say, ish. Except I'm going to need to split off some of that steel. So if I split off the steel there, I've got to run really some sort of splitter here and then back underneath. It's going to take a little bit of finagling, but not too much, hopefully. So why don't we just, for now, assume this belt is being extended. And we'll just run it this way. There we go. And then here we just have to run this belt somewhere suitable. Let me just run it next to the others. So I've got a gap of 2 in the middle. That actually really does help. And then from here, yeah, that's actually easier than I thought. We'll just run this underground section right here. And then I will have steel and stone brick. And then, of course, we just need the red circuits, which are up there somewhere. I don't need to worry about them immediately. Again, I am getting a little bit cramped in space, but not as much as I like. I often just trying to make sure that each of these separate segments are as far apart as you can manage without having to run all over the place. Speed module 2 is done, so on to explosives. And that's now using grey science, so we don't have to worry about that. And then I need to link in this in somewhere. Now I'll do this off camera, but my red circuits from this second array I've sent backwards, going back towards where they came from, and re-merging with this line right down here. So you'll see we're currently backed up because I turned off the speed modules. And oh, I forgot. I forgot. Did I merge it? Yeah. Oh, that's going to be annoying. Yes. Let me just change that for a second. Oh no. Oh well. I guess I'll be able to take some red circuits manually. And that should sort itself out. There we go. Is that sorted? Ish? Yeah, because we will need... let me just actually put them... I don't know... will that work? If I put that on that side... that on that side, and then... that? Yeah, that'll work. And the other side will just continue to bring the green line across. Sort of horrible. And we'll bring that green line down here. And yeah, we could put red inserters down there as well. There's no real issue either way at the moment. That just keeps this throughput a little bit nicer. and then I can reattach. In fact, I don't have to do anything with this. It'll all just come through. I have got quite a lot of red circuits in my inventory though, so that will let me build other things. So we wanted furnaces, didn't we? Furnace. I'm going to make these and link them all the way up near the top, or bring the electric engines down to combine together to make the purple science pack. So given we're going to have to put it on this belt, anywhere around here should be fine. Yeah, we'll just take all those red circuits off the end of this shortly. In fact, let me do that now, otherwise these won't actually ever start. There we go. So we're going to need to merge it in here somewhere. So what I think, given that the steel and thing is coming across here, why don't we just think about maybe putting our array of stuff here. So I'm going to extend it off camera. We'll bring those belts over. We'll bring the electric engines down and combine them into production science. So there we are. The electric engine units have arrived by this very long belt coming all the way from the top. And then we've got red circuits, stone bricks and steel all being produced into furnaces right here. And we have a bit more capacity for adding another one, which of course I will do because that's just obviously going to not be enough. Let's just make sure we got both of these going. There we go. And output. Similarly, you know, we've got a couple of assembly machines here producing the purple or the production science packs. That's going down here, just underneath and onto this side of the belt here. You see that's going to go around and back towards the labs essentially. So from there, we've pretty much got all 6 science packs done. They need scaling and rebalancing, don't get me wrong, but they are actually done and they're producing. We are just splitting off some of the red circuits from our blue circuit factory, and again we may need to balance those, or indeed just set priority. In fact, let's just set the output priority to the left there. So it always will supply blue circuits, and if it's got time spare, or it's got goods spare, it will send them down to our furnace factory. And at the moment that isn't supplying enough for the purple science, so let's just get another couple. There we go. And do the same thing again. Again, it's usual that you run out of red circuits all over the place when you start doing this. You could stay, could stay around and you could calculate everything out, but at the end of the day, you may as well just put stuff down and get it down there, at least while you're actually starting the game. So rocket shooting speed 2, I think, is next up, and that's looking pretty good. We don't have that much more research to do in order to get to the rockets. There's only about 4 or 5 more things, but we are going to get onto the modules which require the later science packs. So having these science packs available ahead of where you get to that particular point in research is, of course, ideal. Now, one other thing you're not going to want a huge line for, but you are going to want this to start being produced, is concrete, and at least 1,000 of it. So in our case, we can probably run this from a belt around here or so. And for this, you're going to need some iron ore, you're going to need some water, and we can produce concrete. So if we just grab this from here, we just get to concrete. In fact, I want that one further away just because of the way this thing connect. There we go. And then we can just rerun that pipe work right there. There it goes, and we need, that's the water supplied. We'll connect the power, and that's that supplied. We don't need to actually supply that in any different way, but just for symmetry's sake, we will put those there. And then the other ingredient is iron ore. So you need a couple of miners, something like that, that you're not going to use for the rest of the system, that you're going to use for this. So I'll just put them here, to be honest. I don't... yeah, I sort of want them... Well, we can't really put them either side too easily. No, let's just put them here. Like that. And then I'll just use a belt going this way. We'll go underground. May need some more plate for that, but that's fine. And I'll go far enough. This will come in around here. Ooh, am I missing some belt? I need to get some more belt. Should be fairly close by. Yep, there it is down there. And that's more than enough. Just to make sure these are supplied with power. They'll produce some iron ore. Iron ore will come up here. We'll just then inject it into these two. And then we just want to probably do something like box stuff. So in that case, why don't we just use a couple of red inserters, put them on this concrete onto a belt here. And for the moment, let's just box it. So put it there. Grab some a fast inserter or so. Well, we shouldn't need a fast, but put one anyway. And we can grab those red inserters. There we go. So that's going to start building up with concrete, and there's quite a lot going to be built up there. So I think I'm sure it's in hundreds. So that should be enough with one row there. But yeah, it's fine. It's going to be needed for the rocket silo, and it shouldn't be needed elsewhere other than unless you want paving. And the paving lets you walk around faster, so by all means add that, but to your own taste really, in your own base. And I think that's pretty much the end of the episode for today. A lot more of the stuff I need to do in between now and maybe the start of the next episode is a lot of scaling stuff. We're going to need just to produce more copper. We need to produce more iron, and I've just run the whole system out of steel because I didn't really build up steel all that much, and building those furnaces actually takes up a fair amount of steel. So you'll see there's just not enough iron ore coming in for the steel. That's the main sort of limit there, and that's because the iron ore was all the way down here, and there's only a tiny amount being produced. We are fairly close to our power consumption as well, so when we actually want to do this, we also want to scale up. Let's just make 10 of those. We just want to scale up pretty much everything, including the power generation. Now, I did also find another patch of coal down here that will be sent, and that's being sent straight towards the steam engines, just so that those are pretty much kept busy as much as possible, or kept fueled as much as possible. And we may also want some more iron as well, but you know, I don't really care too much just yet for iron. Mainly steel and copper now that I'm short on. So have we finished with you? Yeah, looks like we have. So let's just put a few more of those in. There we go, and why not? Do we already have a preferred side? We do. Good. Okay, and that should help alleviate the steel issue, although every time we put one of these miners down, of course, we're going to lose some more power. That's getting close. I'm going to have to go and build some more power. In any case, that's pretty much it for the new stuff we do this episode, so I will leave it here with you. Hopefully you've liked it. This episode, if you have, please do give it a thumbs up down at the bottom. This episode, we have largely completed all of the science packs. Be aware to get the rocket silo, you're going to need 1,000 of all the science packs. So yeah, if it backs up, you want it backed up probably. And you may also want to think about maybe extending these science labs out to make that process a lot quicker, because it does take a little bit of time. Of course, that will starve the rest of the factory, but you should be aware of it. So we've automated electric furnaces. We've got blue circuits running. We've got the high-tech science, only one of them at the moment, but we'll need more of those. Again, that's going to be limited on blue circuits. Expanded our refineries. Batteries, we started right at the very start of the episode. So pretty much everything that we need to actually get done, we've now done. And we have to get ready towards, if we look at the research, rocket silo, there it is. So 1,000 of every science pack. So the stuff we need to sort of build next episode is, we've got all of those, of course. And that's not too much of a problem. And that's only one thing we need to build. So we don't need, you know, to automate that. We just need those quantities of things. Low density structures of copper, steel, and plastic. Again, we're going to need plastic that we were pulling from that coal line in the middle of the factory somewhere. We're going to need more of it. More importantly, that will use up steel quite quickly. And if you have a look at the time there, that's going to take 30 seconds per low density structure. You're going to need a lot of assembly machines to actually make those quickly. Rocket fuel, we've already been doing because we've been converting light and heavy oil into it. but we may need more. Rocket control unit is processing unit and speed modules, so we've already been making those. And rocket parts combine these three. So really, you're probably going to be constrained, I would assume, on the modules and the processing units. And the satellites itself is just a one-off thing. You need to put it into the rocket, so that you need 100 blue circuits, some low density, some rocket fuel, and some solar panels and accumulators. And I haven't automated those or the radar because we can just set up one-off things. And what does the accumulator take? Batteries and iron plates. That's no big deal. So yeah, we'll start all of that next episode, heading towards the rocket. But for now, we've got the main parts of the factory we need to get done. So I hope you enjoyed it. As I said before, give it a thumbs up if you have. And we'll see you next episode for some more Factorio. If you haven't subscribed, you can click the button and, of course, the bell if you want notifications. Or follow me on Twitter at Greyduster to get those if you want them that way as well. Otherwise, as always, comment to other users. Let everyone else know, and particularly if you see anything wrong here or any improvements. As I say, I'm not being too concerned with exact ratios. I prefer to get everything down before we start tweaking those, and we'll have more than enough time to be tweaking them because it takes a while for it to build the various things you need for your rocket. Alright, thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time for some more Vanillaish Factorio. As always, guys, thanks for watching.